All right, Shred Shack Radio. Pat Gessner in the studio with you guys right now. Justin from Tallah is on the line right now. Hey, Justin, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Got the new album out, Generation of Danger. You guys put out this album in November. We got a chance to listen to the whole thing. How's the response been for it so far?
It seems like everyone really, really likes it. I haven't heard too many bad things about it yet.
People are getting on board with it, man. I saw Loudwire actually put you guys on their list of the 50 greatest metal releases of the past year.
Oh, that makes me happy.
There you go. I usually take notes when I'm reviewing albums, and when I was listening to Generation of Danger, I wrote down 4 sentences in particular that I just kind of underlined 3 times because I thought them multiple times.
Cool.
The lines that I wrote down were, where did that sound come from? Did the singer just start speaking in tongues? Okay, where did that sound come from? And I think I need to speak to a manager.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just a weird, really interesting sound that you guys are putting out there that's not really something that can be mimicked or copied by a lot of people. And when you come together and make an album with sounds like this, what is the thought process that goes into kicking that off?
I mean, the first thing that we do is just make sure we're happy with the songs. Like before we even get to the studio and we're like demoing out everything, we're like, is this what we want to present to people? Like, is this a good representation of what we're doing? So that's like before we even get to the studio. We just want to make sure that we're like fully satisfied with just like the demo versions and that everyone likes their parts, likes what they're going to play, and that we think we can, eventually do it live and impress some people.
Just in terms of recording the album, though, is that a challenge? Because I know you guys are all multitasking in the industry between your own stuff, and Max just joined Code Orange over the past year or so. So how has it been actually getting together to record and even write stuff like this?
I mean, writing was never really too much of a problem because Max, he just writes instrumentals like whenever he's ready, and then he sends them to me and I throw vocals over them. We're like the 2 main guys. So it's not like we have to get together and like jam or anything like that. So the writing process wasn't affected. And then in terms of recording, we just do it like all at once. So we just schedule some time with our guy, Josh Schroeder. He's the guy that produces it and engineers it and everything. And we'll just drive to Michigan where he's at and, stay there for like 3 or 4 weeks and just record everything from start to finish. So even if, Max has to do some stuff with Code Orange, he's still there. He still puts out the time to be with Tallah when he needs to be with Tallah.
When you guys are actually putting the songs together, because obviously there's going to be a lot of like, I associate it with like building a jigsaw puzzle out of all of these different sounds that you guys put together. Do you guys put it together as like one disconnected thing for a whole album where you're trying to fill in spots where it works? Or do you go song by song with this?
I mean, we pretty much go song by song. Like Max, he knows the sound he's going for. And even though like to some people it sounds like super chaotic and like all over the place, he has a very strict thing that he does. And then when he sends it to me, I just match that. So even though the vocals are like super ADHD and like crazy, it's more like, here's a crazy part of the song, so let me do something equally as crazy here. Here's a more chill part of the song, so I'll tone it down here. And everything just kind of synergizes and flows really well together.
When you have some songs, like I was listening to some stuff on the album today, I always like go back to the Hard Reset because I think it's just a really crazy mesh of sounds put together. When you have a song like that and do you want that to be as basically an album opener after the Mudcastle intro? Do you want that to be a sound that says, this is pretty much what we sound like, or this is nothing what we sound like because strap in for the rest of this?
It's definitely kind of like a mix of the both, I guess. Mudcastle, that's kind of like, I guess, like the opening credits or whatever. And then once the song, like the Hard Reset hits, that's supposed to feel the very same way that like No One Should Read This felt on Metrifigy. It's like, boom, we're just going to hit you in the face with everything we've got, get you hooked, and then you're in for a wild ride after that.
Once you have this sound and you're actually putting it out there, I noticed because you guys have been put on some shows with some notable acts and you're always constantly going out there with this stuff. Is there kind of a disconnect with the audience if you tour with somebody who's, let's say, like a more traditional, straightforward band, or did the crowds kind of get into it because your sound is going to be different from theirs?
Well, there's definitely a disconnect. Like when we toured with All That Remains, a lot of them liked us, but most of it was like they liked the heaviness, so that was fine. And Varials was with us, so it didn't seem like super far fetched. It was a nice mix of like hardcore and new metal and metalcore. But recently we did a tour with like Drowning Pool, and that just was not a great fit. Like they were super nice guys. We liked all of them, but their audience was not, they didn't like us at all. It was, everyone was standing there like cocking their heads to the side, like, what is this?
I've met Drowning Pool a couple times, and I've been to a couple of their shows, and those shows seem like something where the audience goes knowing exactly what they're looking for. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna show up and you know you're gonna play something like Dicker's done, you know that there's gonna be something of a clash of styles there.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess our goal was like, we just want to try to win them over anyway. So it's like if the music doesn't win them over, we're like maybe our stage energy, or maybe like some of the funny stuff I say on stage. Like we're gonna try to get them to like us anyway. Obviously, you can't get everyone to like you, but that's the goal.
This seems like a time where it's actually a good thing to be a band that wants to do crazy experiments with heavy metal. You got bands like Electric Callboy just blowing people away by making them just say, all right, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is, but I like it and I'm going to share it on TikTok. So when you have a sound that's unique like yours, do you find it easier to just let it sit and kind of let it meld with the rest of the industry, or do you kind of feel like you have to push it out there?
Some of the times you can throw something out there, and over time it'll build up. Like our song Overconfidence, you know, it had a pretty good start, but over time, like over the last 2 or 3 years, it really got a lot more attention. But it's like you have to throw it out there and get everyone to look at it first. You got to be able to be like, hey, look at what we're doing over here, because there's so many people putting out so much music. It's just hard to get people's attention these days. So you have to, you know, go out there on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever and do like other little promotional things to try to get people like looking at you.
Okay, so that's just putting everything out there once it's finished. But when it starts, that's what I'm more interested in right now, because you've got all these different obvious influences with your music. There's some Mudvayne in there, some I Wrestled a Bear Once, some Red Chord, and some Korn. It's just all meshed together in this crazy mix. So how does this sound originate for you guys? What starts this?
I mean, it's kind of like we all listen to different genres of music in the band, but we all kind of meet in the middle at like new metal. So Max, you know, he loves Code Orange, he loves Slipknot, he loves Korn. But then you've got Derek, he likes like North Lane and Spirit Box and like Bad Omens. And then I'm over here, I like Slaughter to Prevail and like Whitechapel. Like it's like a huge mix of genres. So when we all come together, we just meet at new metal and we're like, okay, what can we do to make this sound like cohesive and not like, we want it to be a controlled chaos, not just like totally wild and out there.
The album's picking up a lot of steam. Everybody seems to be into it. You guys, I saw that you guys have some festival appearances coming up, but what's going to be the next step for the group?
I mean, yeah, we got some festivals this year. We're hoping to get on some more good like tours as supporting acts. We're going to probably hopefully be writing some stuff this year. And then I guess, you know, just prepare for the third album. You know, I know we just put out an album, but you can't really like sit. Like if you're an upcoming band that hasn't like fully got their foot in the door, you kind of have to keep doing stuff to get people to, you know, if your last album didn't get enough attention, hopefully the next one will, you know?
Do you have a lot of stuff that's like left over from previous recordings, or are you just going to come into it with a fresh mind?
Oh, it's totally fresh. Like everything we've written so far is on these two albums. So it's like the next album, I don't even know what's going to happen with it. Max hasn't really shown me anything yet. So honestly, I'm just as excited as everyone else.
All right, man. New album is out right now from Tallah, Generation of Danger. Justin, thank you for calling in, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.